everybody wants to be a PLG company. Who doesn't want to be a product-led growth company, right? So like we don't have to have sellers, but they have a massive problem that nobody is addressing. They're long tail. So when they have 10s, 30s, I talked to our company yesterday, you have 30 million pay-as-you-go customers. You cannot put a human on that long tail, right? So you can put a human on your highest qualified, that come through, that are the enterprise and the mid-market accounts that come through and make sense. But let the AI take a shot at the ones you're never going to put a human on anyway. There's diamonds in the rough.
Amazing. I am so excited for today's 10X Go-to-Market Community Podcast with Amanda from OneMind. Before we jump in, thank you all for joining us on this live podcast. We're here to chat with the community about all your burning questions for everything go-to-market and AI. And today's special guest for the podcast is someone who I connected with just through the tech ecosystem and immediately was just completely drawn to Amanda and just wanted to learn everything I possibly could about Amanda's background and how she thinks about the future with go-to-market and AI. So I know this is going to be an incredible conversation. Quick background on Amanda. She is the former CEO of 6sense and now the founder of OneMind. She started her first company at 21 and then now is working on fast forward through 6sense and her first company at 21. She's now focused on OneMind, which is a photorealistic face, voice, and proactive brain technology for go-to-market teams. So excited to dive in. But Amanda, I'll pass it over to you to maybe do a quick introduction.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having me, Alexa. You're amazing. And just want to say props to other women CEO founders. This is hard. I don't know if you know this, Alexa, but you are part of less than 2% of people who are enterprise SaaS B2B are women. So anytime somebody asks me that, my motto in life is I got really clear on my personal mission statement that I am a passionate, positive, spiritual warrior to empower women and girls. So I am here for it. I'm here for you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here today. So Amanda Kahlow. So I was the founder and former CEO of 6sense, the founder and CEO of OneMind. Yes, I like to start my companies with a number. And yeah, just to be cute and clever, I thought it had to be a number before 6. So if it's ever listed next to each other, OneMind comes first. But yeah, my heart is still 100% with 6sense and so proud of that company. But yeah, excited to be on my next journey. Took a few years off to have some babies. And I like to say that if you have kids, that is simply the hardest job. They send you back to work. So I decided to outsource that job and come back to the second hardest job, which is to be a founder of a 0 to 1 company growing and scaling fast. So thank you, Alexa. Excited to be here.
And I want to call out that the first time I met you, you said that right away of, I'm on your team. We're both female founders. We're lifting each other up. And it's so genuine from you and authentic and special. And that's why I'm excited to explore this today and beyond. So really appreciate all you've done for that and what you'll do in the future as well.
Yeah, well, likewise, Alexa, I just want to say I've never had another founder work so hard to help me at this stage. Alexa is all in and so helpful, and I've never experienced it before. So yeah, you're doing something incredible too. And I think that is some of the beauty of what women can do for each other. So yeah.
We'll have a whole other podcast session, B2B, and maybe that one will be over a glass of wine. But now we're talking about 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can. Yeah. So, but for today, we're going to talk about your journey starting from founding 6sense to now OneMind. So both in the broader go-to-market space, both starting with a number. Tell us a little bit, OneMind, what's the problem you're solving? Why now? Why are you very excited about this?
Yeah. So, I kind of made a joke that I was on the bench and came back because of my kids. But 4 years ago when I left 6sense to bring in an amazing team to lead and grow the company, it was my turn to go and wanted to focus on my family, get my cortisol levels down. I said I wasn't coming back. I literally said, this is it. I'm done. I'm on the bench. I'm permanently here. But in the back of my mind, I always knew if something gave me that little fire in my belly again, where I felt that I had an opportunity to build something massive and something that I was equally passionate about, right? So, and it also had to align to the network that I know and love. And so the world I know and love call me crazy, but it's B2B sales and marketing and customer success. So B2B go to market, you guys are my peeps, and this is the world I want to solve for. And better or worse, I'm in it for life. I was presented with this opportunity. So the company had been building the product for 5 years. So this isn't something that just came out in this new generative AI wave. So they've been building, it was an AI labs company that had been building synthetic media, face, voice, and a brain. And they were using it in a horizontal use case. So they had cloned the likes of Barack Obama and Deepak Chopra, and they had patient concierge to help. Like I actually lost my mom to dementia a few years back, and they had a patient concierge that helps dementia patients or dementia caregivers understand what to do and have somebody to talk to. So instead of think about if you're a caregiver of a dementia patient, right? Instead of doing research, right, online of, oh my gosh, this patient is doing this. What if I could just have a human-like experience? Doctors aren't going to talk to you, right? Nurses aren't going to talk to you. They're too busy. But these caregivers, it gives them someone to talk to. So I was blown away by the technology. And obviously there are many, many use cases. You can apply this almost anywhere. And so again, immediately I went back to, can we apply this to B2B sales and marketing? And quickly the answer was, shit, yeah, like this could be a salesperson eventually. And so I was like, okay, I'm in. And I just knew that this was and there's so much waste happening in B2B sales and marketing, and the efficiency of not only the people, but if you think about the buyers, I used to talk about the buyer's journey in the early days of 6sense being broken. And I was really only talking about it from the lens of finding buyers. And now I'm talking about it from the lens of, from the minute buyers are looking for your products or services or have a need, they end up on your website, they're digging around, they can't find anything, they finally fill out a form, they talk to a 20-something BDR, and God bless them, they're doing the best that they can, but they don't understand your products or your industries, they don't understand the technical nuances, they don't have the legalese speak, to really have a high quality conversation. So then they get to an AE and then a sales engineer, and the list goes on. So buyers are just fatigued. Right? So they want answers immediately, and they want an empathetic experience. Empathy is one of my favorite words in life. And so I love that I could weave it into what we're doing here at OneMind. So, the idea is that we create this experience where we give buyers access to information and answers to their questions immediately on their time, anytime, always accurate, or 99.9%. It's not 100%. Nothing is 100%. And I love it when people ask me if my superhumans hallucinate, because the first thing I ask is, do your sellers hallucinate? Right? So as long as we're way above that bar. So yeah, I got cleared. We could do this for go-to-market, and we sought out to raise money, and it happened, relatively fast given my background. And now we're building superhumans to help go-to-market teams excel, expand, and supersede the capacity limitations of humans.
That is such a good example of having a powerful solution and then figuring out, okay, what market can we take this to really unlock value for our buyers? Because that could, like you said, it could have been applicable to everything, but you matched both. There's so much founder market fit and founder product fit there, along with just a very impactful product.
Yeah. And then the next question is, okay, now we're applying it to go to market. The hardest question is, okay, where in go to market, right? So now I need to get even more laser focused to find our beachhead. Where are we going to go after? And I think the two areas we've gotten really clear where these superhumans make sense. So actually, I'll just pause. What is a superhuman? It is a face, voice, and brain. She basically has her own virtual laptop in the cloud that can do the thing a human can do. So she can not only carry on a conversation, qualify, give a pitch, give a demo, click around, give a demo, join a Zoom call. So she can do the actions that a human can do and qualify and pass it along. So then where do we use this? We have the superhuman that acts and behaves like a human. It's more empathetic than a real human. The two immediate use cases for us are inbound on the website. So instead of that lurking chatbot in the corner that nobody wants to talk to, what if you could have a human experience? What if buyers get there and can actually talk to somebody, get the demo on the first call, answer the questions, and oh, by the way, she's qualifying, right? And she's passing it along to Salesforce. And the second is a ride-along sales engineer. So imagine every seller, even your BDRs, your commercial reps, not just your strategic, and not just like a 1-to-10 ratio, but every seller gets a solutions engineer or a sales engineer on every call, right? She's there in passive mode, waiting to answer the hard questions. So that's where we've gotten a lot of focus.
How did you narrow into that? Because starting out broadly, I could see use cases across also AEs and AMs and CSMs, even marketers. So how do you narrow it?
Well, it actually found me. So I like to, I've been doing I'm trying to do a lot of things different than I did in the early days of 6sense. So like one of my biggest goals every day I wake up and I say, all right, what can I do different? Not that I did a lot of things well and I made a lot of mistakes at 6sense. And one of the areas was I wasn't listening. I was kind of really bullish on like, this is what we need to do and how we need to do it without really having my listening ears on every day. And it got really clear to me that PLG companies are like, everybody wants to be a PLG company. Who doesn't want to be a product-led growth company, right? So like, we don't have to have sellers, but they have a massive problem that nobody is addressing. They're long tail. So when they have 10s, 30s, I talked to our company yesterday, you have 30 million pay-as-you-go customers. You cannot put a human on that long tail, right? So you can put a human on your highest qualified, that come through, that are the enterprise and the mid-market accounts that come through and make sense. But let the AI take a shot at the ones you're never going to put a human on anyway. There's diamonds in the rough. And so that's when we got really clear that our focus right now, when we're doing this for everyone, but PLG is where it's at, like where those companies, it's exponentially lower than the cost of a human and it allows them to have exponential growth, right? So like the growth curve for PLG companies to have an AI talk to when the leads come in, you're not hindered and limited by the capacity limitations of humans.
Something you mentioned before is AI superhuman. She can have more empathy than a real human. I haven't heard that yet because sometimes there's this thought that when you have AI, they don't have the, right human tendencies. They don't seem real. They don't think like we do, talk like we do. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, let me just clarify. There are things that humans do that are much better than AI. Today, I'm going to put that caveat, right? We create relationships, but I like to say we know we can fall in love with an AI, right? Like let's go outside of our industry and other worlds, like, and kind of open up our social media and our TikTok. And we know, not that I even have TikTok, but humans can fall in love with AIs, which means that we can create a relationship with an AI. Which means we can have it can elicit that emotional reaction. The place where I believe the AIs are more empathetic, specifically to your question, is if you think about a sales process, you're asking questions, right? You ask, what are your pain? What's your go-to-market motion? Like, how are you trying to solve it, right? So you're trying to tease out, so what are their needs and how can I address that? How often do sellers actually use that information in the conversation in real time? Like, almost never. Even your best sellers, they might use like a piece of it, but are they able to pull in the information that you just shared about your needs and your pains and what you're solving for and go directly to how their product solves it and show the use cases and customers that are aligned? They might do it in the follow-up, if they're really good sellers. Most of the time, even like myself, I'm on 8, 10 sales calls a day. I'm at best, like looking through my information, like, all right, who are they? What do they do? Okay, how am I going to use this? 90% of what I'm saying is like the core pitch, right? So it's just like going through the motions, but the AI can do that. So they can take the information they learn in one turn of conversation and 5 turns later, weave it in the most creative way. And that's what I call empathy, right? So they're not having that emotional empathy, but they're having the understanding, repeat back what I just said in a way that you can actually help me solve that problem. And that's game changing. That's a massive unlock.
It's something we're focusing on a lot as well, where it could be really hard to do value selling or solution mapping or being strategic for sellers when they have so many meetings in a day. It's hard to get all that information in a way that makes sense. Yeah, no, it's impossible. So it makes a ton of sense. So I'm sure a lot of folks listening now and that will listen to this podcast in the future are going to say, all right, Amanda, does that mean, inbound SDRs and SCs are going away, or is there room for both?
My honest answer is that a lot of the more repetitive people who are doing repetitive tasks where they're not lifetime jobs, like if you think about, a commercial rep or an SDR, an inbound, or even outbound, right? People really aren't signing up for these jobs for a lifetime, and they're really just doing repetitive tasks, right? Mm-hmm. So those jobs absolutely will go away. I do think we will still have, while we are helping replace some of the solutions engineers and sales engineers, you will have the relationship person, right? So the relationship side of the selling will still be there, at least for the next, call it 3 to 5 years. Perhaps in 5 years from now, it's a whole new world and I can't even think that far out. I like to think out. I used to think out in the world of 5 and 10 years when I was building companies. Now it's like 1 year is just really hard to understand. Like 2 is like the max that I'll possibly ever go. But yeah, I do believe this is a new world. the only way we're going to survive and create the best products for our customers is if we can get rid of our waste. Imagine being able to take the money that you apply to salespeople and apply it to your product, right? So it's a win in the market and it's a win for everybody. And yes, we will need to find new jobs and we will need to have a new societal structure. And, I have my own thoughts on that, but I'm going to leave those on the table.
I'd be curious the concept of, when I was at 6 Sense, I was thinking far into the future. Now I'm thinking 1 year, 2 years max. Is that based on just second-time founder things, or is that based on AI moving the world so quickly that it's impossible to think more than 2 years out?
It's mostly based on AI. It's impossible to think 2 years out. I think a lot of, what everybody is doing is going to be commoditized, right? So I can't even, at first we thought the face was something we needed to really double down on. And now I feel like in a year, it's everybody can have a face, right? Like our big differentiation is our go-to-market brain. Her ability to spin up a laptop in the cloud, give the demo, answer the questions, share the slides, right? Do the thing. I like to say, do the thing a human does. I think we have some moat there. That's hard. That's a really hard problem to solve that I don't think AI is going to solve overnight for us. But like the voice is commoditized, right? We're looking at different pieces of the puzzle and a lot of companies are solving for these niche point solutions and incremental change. And that's why you see so many AI companies out here because it's easy to do. I don't know that those companies are going to survive because that can be rolled into some of the larger organizations. But yeah, it's mostly the pace of AI and the pace of change and how easy it is to build technology today. Like my CTO won't even talk to me, my co-founder, about a year out. I will because I need to do that for the board, but he won't even talk to me about it. He's like, nah, 6 months is what we're building. This is the next thing. I'm like, okay.
It's so funny. Right after this, I have a 2025 planning meeting with my co-founder and CTO, and we had the exact same argument. I was trying to think 2 years. He's like, Alexa, 3 months.
Exactly.
I'll let him know that you said the same thing. He'll really be thrilled.
They said like commiserate together. But we still have to build businesses, right? So I can't go raise money on a 6-month plan like that. Like the world hasn't caught up to where technology and where we are and what we're capable of. And I think that's, it's exciting and it's scary and it's fun. And we're all just doing the best that we can with the world that we're in right now.
Totally. And something that I'm sure you thought a lot about and have seen it at 6 Sense and seeing it now is there's going to be some early adopters when you're creating a new category and a new technology, new platform. And then there's going to be people that are more laggards. And right now, in PLG companies, a lot of those are early adopters, and which is also probably why you're starting there. That's where we started as well. How do you think about folks that are adopting technology and the pace at which you need them to in order for OneMind to be a big business? Because something I'm thinking about is when you go show OneMind to some companies that are not the most tech savvy, it might explode their brain right now. It's like seeing the internet for the first time. It's going to take people time to actually feel comfortable doing this. So how do you think about, early adopters, tech laggards when it comes to AI?
Well, I'll start with a story. I was selling to, I think this is okay, I share this, but I was selling to WeWork and I had 7 or 8 of their highest level executives on the phone, on the C level, sharing the demos. I showed the demo and talked about it. And we did a custom demo for them. And we went around and everyone was basically like, oh, wow, this is mind blowing. They're saying the things that we want to hear. And then there was one person in particular who I won't name his name, and he didn't say anything. And I was like, what do you think? And he's just like, I can't. And he literally was like, I can't. And he's like, I need to hang up the phone right now. Like, I can't get my head around this. And I don't know if that was like, he's like, no way, I'm never using this, or he thought it was amazing. But I kind of love that. And I go back to one of my favorite bloggers and it's investor, Mike Maples. So he basically has a blog and it's all about, he has this core concept that everything kind of centers around backcasting. And it's really looking out to the future and it's building something that the majority rejects. Right? So if you're onto something, you want to have people say no. So yesterday I got really far in a sales process with a company. They actually weren't a perfect fit. So I like to say, like, I had a friend and mentor say, Amanda, they're just qualifying themselves out. It's a good thing they said no. Right? But we never like to hear no, right? Like it got all the way and then the CEO was like, I don't know. Right? And what Mike Maple says is he takes us back and he says, remember when Uber started? You're going to get in a stranger's car. That's a F no. Right? You're going to go let strangers live in your house in Airbnb? Fuck no. Like, that's not going to happen. Oh, sorry about my profanity. This is real talk here from Amanda.
We're not on Amanda Alexa chat. We forgot we're on a podcast.
It's just who I am. I'm going to be authentically me. Like, I drop the F-bomb sometimes. But you have to So every time I get that no, I realize and I take a pause and say, wow, like this means I'm onto something. Because if everybody said yes right away, that's an incremental solution. That's a point solution, right? So when you're building a category and really trying to be a category creator and really trying to change the way an entire industry operates, you're going to have people rejecting it very fast. You're also going to have people like, oh my God, betting their career on it. I had that happen to me last week, and I'm not going to say the name because I don't know if he would want me to do this, but I have somebody who has an amazing reputation in our world and is like putting all of his chips in on us. And I'm just like, how am I so lucky to have that? Never happened to me in the early days of Sixth Sense. I was begging people to buy. We were so early, like the product, we were black magic. It was like me asking other women and friends, like, hey, give us a chance. Let me just try this. Let me see if it, and then it would kind of work, not really work great. And took us a while to like build our full ABM platform where it can actually execute across all the channels and not just be the insights. And that was a long journey. And I'm seeing something totally different now, but I love it when people say no, because to me, I have to remind myself that means I'm onto something.
It's such a good example. I have the Mike book on my nightstand, and something he says is, what's that secret that you have that other people don't? And I think that you had that secret early with One Mind. You saw the potential and you said, this is going to be massive, and you jumped in, and it seems like others are following along as well.
Yeah, like crossing my fingers and like have to pinch myself every day at the traction we're getting. It's exciting. It's scary. It's all the things. I said I came off the bench because I want the opportunity. I want to be part of like what I call less than the 1% that ring the bell of women founders, CEOs, less than 1% ring the bell. And Lex, I hope you and I both get to do it. We are in the animal kingdom. 1% is extinct. So, if you think about that in terms like that's considered extinct. We are extinct. Let's shift that and do everything that we can.
I'm going to switch gears. Actually, I did not prep you for this, but now that we're talking about that, what would you recommend to women that are maybe founders earlier in their career, or maybe starting out in a, operating role at a startup and they have ambitions to be a founder? What would you recommend to them? Like, what are things you look back and you're like, wow, I'm really glad I did that? And what do you look back and say, shoot, I should have done that differently?
One is to know yourself. Like, where is your risk tolerance, right? Mm-hmm. So my risk tolerance, for better or worse, I had a challenging childhood, is astronomically high. Like, I will live on the edge every single time, so I am okay with failure, and I kind of love it. Like, that's another challenge. I'm okay with being told no. I love it when people don't believe in me. I use that as motivation. Every time I have somebody like in the hallways, not metaphorically, right? Like, oh, she can't do it. Or I'm like, right. So like, no, let me use that to prove you wrong. Thank you. You just gave me more motivation to go fucking kill it. So like every time I have somebody like working against me, it's the higher and the more successful you get, the more people like that are out there. So you have to be ready for that too, right? So the more people that will want to take you down, but I'm thankful for them. Like I pray to them in my own like non-religious way every night, right? To thank you for the people who are like against me, because that's my motivation. So one, to know yourself, and two, not every idea is $1 billion idea, and that's okay. And like starting a smaller company is amazing. And if you can create a lifestyle business, my first company was a lifestyle business. I never sought out to be a venture-backed CEO. That was actually never my intention at Sixth Sense. I started my first company, and then we built a product basically through customers. Like, our customers were Cisco and Dell and Intel. And I had this thesis. I built this technology underneath of them. And I said, oh my gosh, I need to scale this and grow this. And it just was like a natural evolution to say, okay, I need to go raise money so that I can purpose build software to do just this. And that's how I got into Sixth Sense. I didn't get into Sixth Sense because I wanted to be a founder. So finding your why is not to be a founder, right? So my why right now is not to ring the bell per se. My why right now is to show other women that they can do it. I have 2 young girls. I'm a single mama by choice. I hate the word by choice, because I did want to find a partner and I did try with others, but it was, I adopted my first and the IVF baby for my second, who ended up being a miracle baby. There's a whole nother story there. And I want to show them that they can do it. Every day that I'm away and I take a trip. And I also was talking to a woman the other day who runs a 50-person team at OpenAI, runs their VDR team. And she and I are saying how we want to change what the norm is and acceptance for working moms and women. I want to bring my daughter. I brought my daughter to an event in London, and we had the best week of our life. 4 years old, and she watched me speak. And then we went and did all the touristy things, and I had like a nanny there so I could still work. And I was like, why aren't more people doing this? Right. So yeah, I'm doing it partly because I'm I'm alone, right? So if I'm gone for 10 days, that's a lot of time away from my kids, you know? So I was like, shit. The day before, I bought her a ticket and threw her on the seat next to me and said, let's go. I'm great. That's again, me living on the edge, like thinking I can do it all. But I want that to be the norm for people. I want to change how we think about working and our work-life balance.
It's incredible. And you are such an inspiration for that. I think a lot of female founders have this mindset of, you looked up in your old job and you didn't see any women in leadership and you said, I'm going to change this for future generations. And you're doing that, right? Like you are out there showing women that they can do it, creating those networks, being vulnerable, having your kids come with you on trips. Those are all the things that, 15 years ago wouldn't have been heard of.
And right, so, bring his dog on the stage. Like,
yeah.
I never saw it, but I heard it, and maybe it's not true, but it was a rumor I once heard that he brought, and at 6 cents at the time, I only had a dog, and I used to bring my dog on. I was like, well, he can do it. I'll bring my dog on the stage. So I brought my dog. But that was like kind of cute and clever and whatever. But by the time, he was my everything. But this is changing for others. Like, how can because I am so blessed to have this opportunity to do it again, but do it in a way that really aligns to that mission statement that I said before. I'm here to empower women and girls. And so what can I do along my journey to show them, and it's fucking hard. I'm not going to lie. Like, as you know, Alexa, like this is the hardest job ever. So we are, a lot of no's before you get the yeses, and you have to believe in it before anyone else. But what's more fun than when you have success too, is if you're doing something and it's not hard, it's not fun. But I'm also an athlete, so I love to compete. So give me a good competition and I'm out.
And I really love your point of every time someone says no, it just gives you more motivation. I was just asked this on the Zoom Info podcast, what's it like to be a female founder? There's not many of you. I'm sure it's hard. And I think a good mentality, which you clearly have, is switching the mindset of, I can either be really sad about it or I can use it to my advantage and find ways to move forward. And you do all of that. So thank you, Amanda. I can't believe it's already wrapped up. I feel like we could have talked about a million topics for 3 more hours. We'll do it again sometime soon, but thank you so much for joining us. This was incredible.
Yeah, this is awesome. You're the best. Keep doing it. I'm here for you. I'm here for all the women and men too. I don't anything against men. I love men as well. I'm just, I got people who can help. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. Amazing.